Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about scientific word problems, okay? And we're going to learn how to use multiplication and division when solving these word problems. So if you don't have the sheet of paper, you can go and you can print it off. If you don't have a printer, I would just take notes like this, okay? As you can see, just follow along with me. I'll be happy to leave you with a copy in the office. Just email me and let me know. Okay, so let's do number 1. Okay, Alexia owns approximately 2.6 times 10 to the 5th dollars per year. Lauren owns, excuse me, approximately 6.8 times 10 to the 4th dollars per year. About how many times more does Alexia earn than Lauren? Okay, so how many times more, okay, does she earn? When you see that key word, okay, it means you're going to divide. So let's look. It says, does Alexia, okay, so I'm going to put Alexia on top, 2.6 times 10 to the 5th, earn than Lauren. Okay, and Lauren is 6.8 times 10 to the 4th. So they want to know how many times more does Alexia earn than Lauren. To do that, we're going to do division. Okay, remember from yesterday, you're going to divide. 2.6 divided by 6.8 is going to give you 0.38 times. Then we're going to subtract my exponents. 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, now we have to see, is this in scientific notation? Is this number between 1 and 9.9? No, it is not. So we have to move the decimal places until it gets that way. So we move it 1 time to the right. Okay, so I would have to adjust. Okay, and I would have to minus 1 from the exponent. So if I rewrote that, that would be 3.8 times 10 to the 0 power. Okay, and remember, anything raised to the 0 power is just 1, so I'm really just left with 3.8. So Alexia earns 3.8 times more than Lauren does. Okay, so how many times more is a really key indicator that you're going to divide. Okay, let's continue. Number 2. The center of the Milky Way galaxy is approximately 25,000 light years away from Earth. Earth is 1.58 times 10 to the negative 5 light years away from the Sun. About how many times, again, how many times closer is Earth to the Sun than Earth to the center of the Milky Way? So again, we are going to divide. But the thing is, if we divide, they both have to be in the same form. Okay, so this is in scientific notation. However, this is not. So the first thing we have to do is we have to convert this to scientific notation. So I'm going to come out to the side. Okay. So remember, I'm going to have a number times 10 to an exponent. Okay, and since this is a big number, my exponent is going to be positive. So we want to get the decimal to be right here. Well, that number is between 1 and 9.9. And how many times do I have to move the decimal? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now let's see. They want to know, it's Earth to the Sun. Okay, how many times closer is Earth to the Sun than Earth to the center of the Milky Way? Okay. So we would do 2.5 times 10 to the 4th all over 1.58 times 10 to the negative 5. Okay. And you might ask me, why do we put this on top? Well, look at the exponents, okay? Which one has the larger exponent? This one does. So you're going to put this one on top. Okay, if you looked up here, which one had the biggest exponent? This one did, so that's why this was on top. Okay? So now we're going to solve it. Divide my exponents, 2.5 divided by 1.58. You put that in the calculator, and again, you want to use Desmos. Okay, Desmos is like amazing. So if you divide that, you get 1.6 times 10. Okay, so this is for minus -5. So that's 4 plus 5, which is 9. Okay, is this number in between 1 and 9.9? It is, so this is already in scientific notation. We don't have to do anything else. Okay. So again, how many times? Okay, that is a good indicator that you are going to divide. So let's look at number 3. Okay, the mass of a grain of sand is approximately 6.7 times 10 to the negative 7 kilograms. The mass of a particle of dust is approximately 7.53 times 10 to the negative 10 kilograms. Approximately how many times greater is the mass of grain of sand than the mass of the particle of dust? Again, how many times is an indicator of what? Division. Okay, so let's look at this. Which is greater, -7 or -10? If you were doing a number line, and this was 0, this was -7, this is -10. Okay, which one is the greater number? -7. Okay, -10 is the smaller number, so that's going to go on the bottom. I'm going to divide my exponents, okay, and that's going to give me 0.89 times 10. So again, I'm going to subtract my exponents, that's -7 minus -10. Two negatives make a positive, so -7 plus 10 is going to give me 3. Okay, now we have to change this to scientific notation, because this number is below 1, so I'm going to move this. So I'll have 8.9, but since I move it one place to the right, I'm going to have to subtract 1 from the exponent. So then I have 10 to the 2nd power, and this is my answer. Okay. Now, sometimes you're not going to have, your answer choices are going to look like this. Okay, and they're going to say choose A, B, or C, and you get something like this. Okay, if that's the case, this is in standard form, so you would have to convert this to standard form. Okay, so the way you would do that is you would come over here. Okay, this is a +2, so I'm going to move 2 to the right. And that's 890. Which choice is closest to 890? 900. Okay, so sometimes you're going to have to convert it to scientific notation, do the process, and then convert it back to standard form to be able to see which answer choice best represents your answer. Okay, so just pay close attention to that. So now I want you to pause the video. I want you to do these 2 problems, and when you're done, come back. Alright, welcome back. So let's do A. Jackie learns that China has a population of 1.4 times 10 to the 9 people. Her hometown has a population of 2.8 times 10 to the 4 people. How many times larger is the population of China than Jackie's hometown? Again, how many times? So that's a good indication that we're going to do what? Division. So let's look here. Which one has the larger exponent? The 4 or the 9? This one does. So that one's going to go on top. Okay. I'm going to divide my coefficients. Okay, when I divide, it's going to give me 0.5 times. Subtract my exponents. 9 minus 4 is going to give me 2 to the 5. Check to see if it's in scientific notation. 0.5, is that between 1 and 9.9? No. So we're going to have to make it. So we're going to have to move the decimal place once. Since we moved it to the right, we're going to subtract from the exponent. Now I have 5 times 10 to the 4th. And that is my answer. Okay. These work all the same way, okay? You set up, you see which one has the largest one. The larger one goes on top. Divide the coefficients, subtract the exponents. Okay, then you have to adjust so it would be in scientific notation, and then you have your answer. Okay, all the same. Anytime you say how many times, you're going to automatically know divide. Okay, let's do B. The distance from Earth is 2.4 times 10 to the 5th miles, and the distance from Earth to the Sun is 93 million miles. How about how many times further is the distance from Earth to the Sun than from Earth to Mars? Okay, so the first thing I need to do before we set up anything, I need to make this into scientific notation. Okay, so I'm going to count my decimals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I moved 7 places to the left. This is a really big number, so my exponent is going to be positive. Okay, so now which one's greater, this one or this one up here? This one is, so we're going to put that one on the bottom and we're going to divide. Okay, so divide my exponents, I get 3.875. Then subtract my exponents, 7 minus 5 is 2. Is this between? Excuse me. That is not what my sorry guys, I had to take out my calculator. Alright, yep. 3.875 times 10 to the 2nd. Okay? And they will let you know if you need to, if they want it in this answer, but some choices it might be like 400, 500. Which one best represents this? If that's the case, then you would have to change it, okay? So you have to go 1, 2, well that's closer to 400. Okay, so sometimes you're going to have to convert back and forth. So just, if you don't see this answer choice, it doesn't mean you did it wrong, it just means that you might need to convert it to standard. That's why we spent a whole day learning how to convert things, okay? So that's the first type of problem you could see. Okay, how many times? Okay, this one is more of multiplication kind of problems, where you're going to be multiplying them. Okay, so Janie's rectangular backyard measures 1.8 times 10 to the 2nd feet by 98 feet. What is the approximate area of Janie's backyard? Okay, so this, if you remember your area of a rectangle is just base times or length times width. Okay? So we have my length and we have my width, so we're just going to multiply them. Okay, and it's what we done yesterday. Okay, times 98. So we're going to multiply my coefficients. 1.82 times 98 is going to give me 180.72 times 10 to the 2nd power. Okay, is this number in between 1 and 9.9? No, so we have to change it. So how many times? I'm going to have to move the decimal 2 times to the left to get 1.8. Now, is that between 1 and 9.9? Yes. Okay, and since I moved it 2 places to the left, I'm going to have to add 2 to my exponent. So now I have 10 to the 4th. And that is my answer. Moving on. Okay, let's go to number 5. The land area in Charlotte, NC is approximately 3 times 10 square miles. There are 6.2 times 10 to the squared acres in a square mile. How many square acres are in the city of Charlotte? Okay, so it says there are this many square acres in a square mile. So 1 mile, there's this many. 1 mile, there's this many. So how many would be in 3 times 10 square miles? So we're going to multiply. Okay, we're trying to find that area. So I'm going to do 3 times 10 squared. Okay, times 6.4 times 10 squared. Multiply my coefficients, 3 times 6.4. Okay, and that is going to give me 190. I'm going to use my calculator. Okay, so 3 times 6.4, 19.2. Okay, and then we're going to add my exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, this is not in between 1 and 9.9, so we're going to have to move my decimal once. Since we moved it 1 time to the left, we're going to add 1 to my exponent. So now I have 1.92 times 10 to the 5th. Okay, so that is my answer. Let's go to number 6. The mass of grain of sugar is 6.25 times 10 to the negative 1 milligrams. The mass of a teaspoon of sugar is 4.2 times 10 to the 3rd milligrams. How many grains of sugar are in the teaspoon? Okay. The mass of a grain of sugar, so 1 milligram, okay, is 6.25 times 10 to the negative 1 milligrams. The mass of a teaspoon, okay, so whole, okay, and then gram is going to be part, is 4.2 times 10 to the 3rd milligrams. How many grains of sugar are in a teaspoon? Okay, we're talking about part and whole. So we want to know how many grains are in a teaspoon of sugar. So we're going to divide. So 4.2 times 10 to the 3rd all over 6.25 times 10 to the negative 1. Okay, divide this out and you will get 0.672 times, okay, again, subtract my exponents. 3 minus negative 1 is 3 plus 1, so I get 10 to the 4th. Okay. I need to move my decimal once to make it into scientific notation. So since I moved it once to the right, I'm going to add 1 times 10 to the 5th. Okay. And that's going to be my answer. Excuse me, I'm going to subtract. What am I thinking? So I have 3. Okay. Since we moved it to the right, we subtract. Pay really close attention to that because it will change your answer. Okay. So now I want you to try these two. So go ahead, pause the video, and when you get done, come back for the solution. Okay, welcome back. So a rectangle garden is 6 times 10 to the 4th centimeters long and 3 times 10 to the 5th centimeters wide. What is the area of the garden? So remember, area is times width, so we're going to multiply these two together. Okay, multiply my coefficients. 6 times 3 is 18. Then you're going to add my exponents. 5 plus 4 is what? 9. Okay, I need to move my decimal once to the left. Since I'm moving it to the left, I'm going to add 1. So then I have 1.8 times 10 to the 10th power. And this last one And company has 3.12 times 10 to the $8 to spend on salaries for its employees. Okay. The company has 6.5 times 10 to the third employees. Each employee earns the same amount. How much does each employee earn? So if they all get the same and they have this much to spend, okay, how much does each individual one make? Where you have whole and part, so you're going to divide. So you're going to do 3.12 times 10 to the 8th. Okay, 6.5 times 10 to the third. And we're going to find how much each employee makes. So again, you have your whole amount they're spending, and then you're going to divide by how many employees they had. And that will give you what each individual makes. So 3.12 divided by 6.5. That's going to give you what? .48 times 10, subtract my exponent since I'm dividing, 10 to the 5th, and I'm going to move it 1 time to the right, so I'm going to subtract 1, then I have 4.8 times 10 to the 4th. So that is what they make. Now if you want to know exactly how much they make, you can convert that to standard form, the kind we know. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they make 48,000, which is more than I make teaching. Okay, so this is how you do this. Again, the first one is pretty much straightforward. Okay, anytime you say how many times, you know you're going to divide. These you have to pay really close attention, because sometimes, especially with area, you're always going to multiply. But then it kind of gets kind of iffy, okay? You're going to kind of have to read and really see if it's asking you to multiply or if it's asking you to divide. So I put 3 practice problems that you need to complete on Canvas. You can take it as many times. I think I gave you like 10 tries you can try. So just keep trying until you get it. Do your best. Ask me questions. Okay, tomorrow we're going to do more of this. So I hope you all have a good day.